Hello, it's chow time. It's the seaweed seafood wrap special. Seaweed seafood wraps for $5 for 6 meals. And I had a really tough time finding the wrap material I wanted, and I couldn't find it. I was going to go for a lumpia, but there is no non-GMO lumpia out there. So today I'm going with a no more than 50 cents worth of 3 whole wheat. You can see I've been nibbling on one of them. 3 whole wheat right out of the freezer. So that's what happens when you go out of the freezer. This one's good. There you go. Whole wheat, organic, non-GMO outsides of the wraps. We're going to cut them in half, so each meal is 1/2 of the wrap. But let me show you what goes inside the wrap. We've got this package of crab meat, which I got for $1 on sale, which is usually you find this for about $2. Now that could be added to a little bit of shrimp that you might have out of a frozen bag, no more than $1 a shrimp. So I'm calling this $2, but normally it would be a little bit more. So you may just do a $2 bag of this instead. All right, just to make it more flavorsome. Yes, it's a wheat tortilla, that's right. I've got a $1 cabbage that I won't be using more than a half of, so about 50 cents for the cabbage. And I've got a 10-cent onion there, a yellow onion. And I picked up some mushrooms for 99 cents. You can see they're a little bit ready to go here, but I got them in the sale rack. But they're still good. They're not rotten or anything. I'm going to use about a half a container of mushrooms, so 50 cents there. So about $1 in vegetables. We're up to about $3.50. I'm going to go ahead and throw in some cheese. I've got slices of cheese already set up, ready to go. Those are essential. And the really low-cost stuff is the seaweed. Now, I get seaweed, rehydrate it, and it's from bags like this. And in about an hour in water, it grows into something like that, just a little bit. No more than about 2 tablespoons. You've got a lot of seaweed rehydrated. This happens to be pre-Fukushima. It's actually the day of Fukushima. I went out and bought like 10 bags of this stuff because I knew that the waters outside of Japan might be tainted. But boy, I found a really good product. Costco Food is making this seaweed, and these things you can cook with as well. And these things are so delectable. They're coming from a farm raised in Korea, so they're not right near Japan, but away from the waters of Korea. But man, these things are so flavorsome. You just stick them in your mouth, and they're mouth watering. You can use this as well. And this is readily available now at stores for about $1 a package. So I'm including about 5 sheets of that in terms of the amount of seaweed. I don't have a wig, man. All right, so we've got a really good assembly of food. I'm going to go with, for seasoning, I'm going to go with dill weed. And I'm using some Cantizero herbs, but basically Italian seasoning. This is a particular spice that I picked up at a store. It's really good. All right, so let's move the garden kitchen over here. Turn the light on. Okay, cheese on seafood. Yeah, it works, especially when it has a wrap to work with. So with the wraps, I'm going to start a pan going with olive oil back here on level 3. And I'm going to start this front pan up here on level 3 as well to start sauteing some vegetables. Now, when those pans get hot, once they're hot, then I'll put some olive oil, extra virgin organic olive oil in there. Thank you. Sarah's avoiding a lot of carbohydrates right now, so I'm very pleased that she's, focusing on avoiding that. But of course, last night she bought some crazy bread. Of course, I told her, they call it crazy bread for a reason, because when people start eating it, they can't stop. All right. Cutting the vegetables. I think that's a decent picture. And your hands have to be clean, of course. I started with clean hands. And the slices, you don't want anything too leathery. So the outside of the skin is kind of leathery. You don't want that. With a wrap, you don't want somebody biting into something and feeling, things hanging onto their teeth as they're holding onto it. Now, I pulled some garden parsley out today. That's from my garden. It's really easy to grow. But you can use cilantro. Some people use cilantro. It makes a very interesting taste. Okay, we've got 1 carrot this is going to be using, and some mushrooms, like I said. The carrot's something that I would normally say don't use it, but because it matches the color and texture of the fake crab, it works for me, and it's certainly adding a lot of vitamins to the dish. And you want to get a base going. So what we're going to do is chop up cook the vegetables that take the longest time right away. Okay, I think what you might want to do is when you slice your carrots long ways, you can do a diagonal cut on them. Makes kind of an interesting effect, but if you start chopping them like that, they're going to break apart in the wrap and start falling out. So what I do is I really do a thin slice on carrots, and we'll put those down on oil right away. Just getting some thin carrots in there because we're going to kind of layer them in the wraps with the cooked cabbage and the seaweed on top. This dish does require a couple of eggs, so I haven't shown those to you, but that's within the $5 budget. Okay, we're getting hot here. I put about 3 tablespoons of virgin olive oil on top of both of the dishes. That's about the most I use. Great particular stuff. We're going to cook most of the vegetables down first in this container right here. The carrots are going to go in there at the base. Then I'm going to put a little bit of the other onions over here, where I'm going to be cooking the tortillas. But most of the onions are going to go over here for flavor. Okay, I'm going to cover these things up and start cooking them with a little bit of Italian seasoning and dill weed on top, just to get them going. And you want to get your seasoning in right away because this particular part of the phase is the early stage. Okay, we're going to cover this up. I'll set my tortillas over here temporarily. I'm going to take them up to level 5, both dishes. Actually, take it up to level 6. Dillweed, yeah. You said I'm fat? What are you saying? I find that kind of funny considering I'm 230 pounds and built like a brick shithouse. Yeah. Yeah, you wouldn't want to get in an alley with me because, number one, I'm I'm physically overwhelming in size. Number two, I know all the soft kill moves where you can basically neutralize your enemy within a second. I'm 6'4". Like a brick shithouse. I don't think you can see my upper body here, but I'm kind of one of those guys like the guys on steroids that are in your local football team, except I'm not on steroids. It's all natural. It's all natural. This is the hard part of the phase of cooking where I get to talk to you. Be like water, my friend. You're 6'7", 325. Well, you definitely outweigh me. Yeah, I got Steve Hawking. No, Steve Hawking, I don't have his genes because I'm not a vegetable. He's not even alive anymore. He died. They've got a replacement for Stephen Hawking. I really was surprised to find out that John Nash may not have died in that car accident. His wife may have died when the taxi hit a wall. Please don't mention anything from other chat rooms, especially hers. Thanks. Okay, you'll notice the water factor of the shrimp when I'm soaking it. My grip is good. My grandfather had a grip that would break your hand. My grandfather worked in the fields 13 hours a day for 45, 50 years. I mean, the man had stamina like no other person. When I met him, my grandfather, he was like almost in his 80s. And he had the straightest back. It's straighter than, I don't have a straight back. His back was like a board. It's important to get those carrots cooked first. I'm ready to throw some of these things down on the grill. I'm going to move these onions around, push the oil around. I'm just going to throw these on top like that. The idea is to kind of steam them right now. You can cover it back up again. You got to be very fast. You got to flip that over and rotate them. What I'm trying to do is glaze and caramelize a little bit of the whole wheat, so doesn't taste like it came out of the refrigerator or freezer. You see that water that the shrimp was sitting in? I'm going to put that little bit of that water in this container right here just to add to the burn. It has a seafood flavor. When shrimp sits there, it kind of congeals with the water and forms it marries, essentially. Okay, I'm going to take this parsley or cilantro. Cilantro has a much different taste, so you may want to be careful with that. Use less cilantro than parsley. And I'm going to kind of mince it around like this. And I'm going to throw it on top of all that. That'll cook down. I'm going to rinse off this cabbage. Nice and clean. And I think I'll rinse off some mushrooms too. Those out there. Use as many of these mushrooms as I can. They look like they're ready to go. I'll save a couple more for another dish, like an egg dish for breakfast or something. Okay, everything's cooking. I'm going to flip that over. Let's see how brown it's getting. Getting a little brown there. There's one in the middle that's not really getting cooked brown, but yeah, Soylent Green is Republicans. That's pretty funny. Very, very funny. I eat it. I'm going to show you how great it is in just a bit. Yeah, that's who eats it. I eat it. I eat the food that I make in my kitchen. I eat the food that I make in my... Hey, let's go ahead and got a better light on there for you. Okay, get ready to turn this flame in the back off. Separate the layers and flip that over. Okay. And then flip the bottom to the other side. Okay, that's off in the back. Just basically sitting. Okay, rear is off. Front is on. Get busy cutting up some of these mushrooms and some cabbage. I think the bottoms need to come off of some of these. That's usually where the mushroom ages, is on the bottoms. So if you shave off the bottoms, it's like no big deal. Okay, good. Mushrooms add such a really interesting taste, kind of a meaty taste whenever you make seafood. Okay. Okay, if you need any more water, the pan's getting a little dry. Gotta scoot everything around and add some of that seafood water. Throw the mushrooms in. Cover it up. Some cabbage. I'm going to use the lesser half of this. Save the rest for another meal. Nesting your vegetable. Okay, and this has been washed off. I'm going to bisect it 3 ways. And just slice real thin. Okay. Giving this a good cook at level 6. Still cooking with all that fluid in it. I'm going to add the seaweed, but I don't want that water in it. I'm going to rinse it off. So I'm going to drain it. And this is a product that's available. It's called liquid soy protein. Bragg's makes it. Yeah, it's really good. It's organic. Anyway, we're going to spray this on top. Okay. I'm going to spray a few sprays on top of this. Just for flavoring. We can add more later. I have not put the cabbage in. Okay, now I'm going to take that seafood mix that I purchased. There we go. Slice off the top and put it in the colander. And rinse it off because it usually comes really salty. I use filtered water to rinse things, so. Okay. All right, here we go. It's Fusion Cook Day, the discount food galore. That cabbage is as fresh as the day is bright. I just bought it today. I don't use placenta spray on my food, but thanks for it. That's a great idea. It's all natural. No, I don't donate anything to Pink Sparkles. No. I'm not involved. That's slanderous statements. These don't even mention slanderous statements here, okay? A few weeks ago, you became a Mason. Well, that's your fault. It's on you, man. I don't join secret societies. I don't believe in it. If you want to consign your soul to Satan, that's your choice. Actually, the Masons are not Satan worshipers. Only the top of the pyramid worships Satan. So everybody below thinks they're worshiping Jesus. They have no idea that the top, the elite, worships Satan, Jesus as Satan. I don't use placenta spray in my food. Okay, so we're right at the point where I've got to go get a couple eggs out of here. And a nice thing about eggs is they're really cheap. $1 a dozen. I usually get that price. Now, if you want to get range-free, range-fed chickens that have been massaged by Buddhists, I believe that's more expensive. Okay, with all fusion meals, I now kick on my back burner to a level 3 again. I pull off my pre-browned, all those are pre-browned. Throw a little more oil in the back burner. I take the cabbage and put it right on top of that hot oil. You can almost hear that from your perspective. I turn the front burner off. Now I'm going to cut the seafood on a plate because I don't want to contaminate the chopping block. And I'm going to cut the seafood like I would vertically. I'm going to pull it apart. I'm going to take this and pull it apart like it was meant to be, vertically. I'm going to lay all those simple strands on top of the cabbage. In one direction. You know where it is. Everything's been pulled apart as best I can. Very nice. Nice texture. Looks like long crab meat. I'm going to take the rest of the shrimp and I'm going to cut it up into small pieces while it's in the plate. The idea is to get as much shrimp flavor into that cabbage and into that cook in the back as possible. So I'm going to set the front plate on top of the back plate in just a second. But I've minced up the shrimp and I'm putting it on top of the back. Like that. Then I'm taking the front plate and I'm going to drop it right on top of that plate. And I'm going to let that at level 3 and let it cook right now. Yeah. So fusion dish. Now I'm going to be putting all of that back into the other plate when it's all reduced down, because that all of the cabbage will be reduced down to a small amount. So actually this is shrinking dinner. But the 2 eggs will go on top of that to fuse it together so it won't fall out of your wrap when it's ready to go. I cannot handle secret societies, I got to tell you. And when they worship Satan, that really freaked me out. And if the Masons would just read Dogma and Morals by Albert Pike, they would understand that they actually are told to lie at the highest level. So it's 6 meals, yeah. We're cooking up in the back there. Oh, I know that Satan is not real. It's a fictitious group psychosis that these psychotic rich people have. That somehow there's this powerful being that somehow has greater power than God. And for those of you who are atheists, you're welcome to deny anything I'm saying, because it's ironically, atheists believe that evil exists, but they don't believe in goodness or God. They believe in goodness, but they don't believe in God. So whatever you want to believe is your choice. I'm not here to talk religion. It really doesn't matter. But when you join those secret societies, you're being pulled. You're not using your independent individual freedom discernment. And that makes it kind of a dicey game, because what they're asking you to do is to extract your free will, which is your divine right. Every individual has free will. Yeah. Every time you bring it up, she tells you need to have a 5150. The whole place smells fishy right now. Yeah. Okay, so this stuff is already done on one side. These things, they're basically already pre-cooked. So when we wrap them, we'll use the cheese to glue it all together. But what we're doing right now in the back is cooking everything at a level 3, and we're melding the ingredients. And the cabbage is cooking down into the dish. And when we pull it all together, we'll be able to scoop it out completely. And I might just rinse this out and put it in this container. It's a little bigger. It's clean, but it's always good to have clean, rinsed items. This is a working kitchen. David's garden kitchen is all about, making things grow. I've got a basket that Sarah's sister gave us. It's a red, white, and blue affair. It's kind of a purple basket with red flowers glowing and lobelia and these white flowers that are growing. So it should be interesting when it gets to reach fruition. But yeah, it's always fun to do a cooking show. I've enjoyed this immensely. Okay, before we actually pull the cover on this, I'm going to actually add a little bit more seasoning at the top, more dill wheat. And a couple more sprays of the Bragg's organic soy. All right. Now, seafood is pretty edible, actually. It's this is wakame or endami. It's called by both names, wakame or endami. It's the most popular seaweed, and it's really good. Mmm. Mm-hmm. Mmm. 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 I can taste the radiation off of the Fukushima coastline. No, actually, this is pre-Fukushima seafood. Mm-hmm. Unami. Yeah. Ban the low IQ Spawn account. Okay. Thank you for alerting me to this guy. What an idiot. Yeah. We got a 2-pound block of Tillamook for $4.99. That's not bad. All right. Okay, once you get a steam going, then you kind of shuffle in there and feel your cabbage. Kind of push everything down. Oh yeah, everything's cooking nicely. I'll throw a little egg on top. Okay. This is going to call for 3 eggs, I think. Uh-oh. The dreaded cracked eggshell. It's inevitable. I got it, though. Okay, just got to massage the egg into the top, pressing it down onto the ingredients below. And everything's cooking at level 3, so it's still knitting together. The shrimp is coming together with the other meal. Everything's kind of marrying. The shrimp doesn't need to be cooked very long at all. It's a very slow cook, but I mean, it's very fast cooked. Shrimp doesn't need more than 5 minutes max from raw to finish. So everything's kind of already knitting together in the next 2 minutes, and then we're going to just basically turn the, once that egg kind of steams down, we'll turn it all off. Now the shrimp is nestled inside, so it can cook a little longer. But everything is kind of knitting together and turning off. Right now I'm getting all my compost heap. All right. I wash my hands every single time I touch food, and this is a particular important thing. Use a paper towel, and after I get done washing these and drying them, I can use them again. I don't know anybody who washes and dries their paper towels. I mean, do you know anybody who does that? No, if you do 6 eggs, it's going to be egg foo young, and it'll be egg sandwich. It'll be egg wrap. It won't be seafood wrap with seaweed. It will be egg wrap. People will say, "Oh, nice egg sandwich you have here." No, I'm not a freak. You're a freak. I happen to have millions and millions of viewers. You happen to have your head up your ass. It's a big block of cheese. It's good too. No. If you take the top of that cheese after you cut it off and wrap it like I do with a good rubber band. Yeah. I don't have a problem with the threat from Kyrgyzstan. Thank you for asking. I think 10 eggs would turn it into an egg scramble. You'd probably be having a quiche in a blanket. You can see the millions of viewers. If you have a UHF channel, you can actually see what they're seeing. That's very rude, and I feel that your mother would be ashamed that you said that because she gave birth to you. I don't think Trump really wants to save America. He wants to pad his pockets in the process. I do put my used coffee grinds in the compost, yes. Okay, we're almost done here. I'm going to turn the back burner off because I know that the eggs are setting up in the heat. I'm letting that cook. No, you don't have the UHF. You're lying. It's an outright lie. You have been muted. No, I'm not a member of any secret society. I don't worship Satan. No, Cherry Breeze, my goodness, this woman, she's a very sad person. She needs help, professional help. She's making up all these stories. She's deluded. Don't talk about her here. Thank you. Ask her to get some professional help. I don't think you understand. I'm not into money at all. I mean, am I the only non-materialistic person who made a vow of poverty in the world? Seriously. I'm not going to make any promises right now, so don't talk about her here. Thank you. Am I the only person in the world who made a vow of poverty and doesn't worship money? Because it seems like everybody here is like begging for more cash. Yeah, you get a lot of UHF. You just don't know it. It's out there. Well, somebody's making up stories and it's wrong. I don't live on the streets because I have to live in my house that I inherited in order to keep it up. Otherwise, it would go to waste. And all the work my father did to try to own a house in his life. Yes, that story is really good. I looked at the whole angle, the Pizzagate angle with Scalise. They may have targeted him because he wrote he was very adamant about stopping human trafficking. And well, I'm not living off my dead parents. My father and I worked out a plan to get ahead of his debt. He was really in debt at one point. I even helped bail out my folks after the probate was done. I had to, pay some of the money toward their probate to resolve some of their hassles, my mother's especially. But in the end, he felt so vindicated because he had finally achieved his goal of providing a legacy for his family. And I don't know about you, but leaving something for your family, it makes your life more meaningful. And it did for my dad. So I'm not living off of dead parents. I'm telling you, it is difficult to maintain a home that is big as ours and a property with nearly an acre. But if I had just let it go, it would have been lost, and all of the legacy. He'd worked so hard all his life as a teacher. My father influenced 10,000 people at least, during his lifetime. They all remembered him as a great, great teacher. So it's all about how you want to frame your life and what you want to do with your legacy. Like I've willed everything I have to Sarah. So if anything happens to me, she receives everything. And that's a legacy for me, to know that somebody deserving can actually, move on in life if something were to happen to me. All right. No one really gives me money because I don't solicit money. I'm not trying to get money here. So there's a big similarity between Vincent D'Onofrio and John Hinckley Jr. Okay. And I wonder why we have the same. Yeah. Their faces are not the same. Two different people. No, Connie got jewelry. She got something. She didn't get totally. All right. Please don't talk about anybody here in a negative way. Thank you. Okay, here we go. I'm taking this container right here. No, Sarah's not a gold digger. She's not. She really isn't. Okay, I'm going to put all of the ingredients in this container right here because I don't have another pan. And as you can see, it's pretty much done. Set. Actually, I think what I'll do is I'll use a plate. I'm going to take one wrap like that, and I'm going to put the material on top of it. I'm going to cut into this. 1/3 of it can go right on top of the wrap. But before I do that, I'm going to lay some cheese down. So as I lay the cheese down on this hot wrap, the material underneath will melt the cheese. Okay. And then I take one piece of cheese and put it on top and fold it over. Like so. I'm going to put that on top of it just to keep it together. Okay, so there's one entire wrap which can be cut in half, and you can feed 2 people with that. Let's do it to another one. It's really good. I'm going to lay the cheese under and over. And then roll it over so the cheese is under and over. Bring it together like that. Now, these are massive wraps, and I'll show you what I do with them when I get them ready to go for serving. We even have enough vegetables to put probably 2 more wraps together. So in essence, you could have 5 or 6 wraps separately if you have more of these whole wheat wrapping materials. But the whole wheat is not overcooked. Let me put the rest of the cheese in there. The whole wheat was merely caramelized. Okay. So I'm going to take the remainder of this and put it on a side dish. Okay. Now, that would make a nice little meal if you wanted to just heat that up, or you could put smaller wraps together with corn tortillas. But taking the wraps and laying them now in the pan, but I'm going to put a little bit more oil down in the bottom of the pan. And I'm going to set them in there. This is the nicest wrap I have. I'm going to line them up side by side. There we go. A really nice mix. So you can actually use the mix later for any kind of a small wrap. And you could make these wraps smaller with corn tortillas. It may be disgusting to you, but watch what I do here. Then I cover it up like that. And I can serve 6 meals out of this one container by cutting it in half with a knife. By slicing them in half by a knife. Or you can make 3 really nice meals if you want. But I've got extra ingredients from all this. I've got all kinds of stuff that I can use for a reheat. And I'm going to put that on a low burner with just a splash of water in there. Got a little water right here. And that'll be ready to eat an hour from now if I put it on melt or warm. So it's a fantastic solution for food if you're quickly making food and you want to serve hot food rather quickly. You certainly don't want to have it sitting out. You want it on a burner, something slow, very warm, like a warmer. And that heats all the cheese up and everything kind of melds together. The cheese really adds a kind of a dimension to the seafood wrap. Hold on just a second. If you really believe that you're going to come in here and say these things about this person, you're going to have to get proof. Yeah, because it's coming under slander. And if you have any information that person said about me, and you send that to my email, americasthirdparty@gmail.com, I'm all set to file a lawsuit. And he's the first to go. Yeah, seriously. I'm ready to go on that one. Yeah, I've got it set up to go. I really do. If you have any solid information that he said that, please email it to americasthirdparty@gmail.com. Okay, so I'm going to, please. I want to know more about it because I've never said a bad thing about that guy, ever. Yeah, I definitely think we have a slander case. If you say what he said is true, and you can prove it, we definitely have a slander suit. I have plenty. Dude, I'm set. I have no problems with money. Yeah, I never did. That man knows nothing about my life, knows nothing about my history. He absolutely is completely in the dark, and I've kept it that way. It's a tortilla wrapped up, and it's got food inside. Now, I don't want to say anything disparaging about that person other than if you really think he said that and you can prove it, definitely send me a copy of that email or transpondence that happened. It is a federal offense, yeah. No, you can't jail somebody for slander. No, it's a civil defense. It's a federal civil offense. There's no criminal charges with slander. No, but I mean, if he's running his mouth off saying things like that, it's just not true. All right, this wraps up our show. Appreciate it. As you can see, this dish is on warm, and I'll be able to draw from it later and serve a nice meal. I'll be up and running with my other stream in just a second, so give me about 1 minute downtime to get my suit on, and I'll be up and running with our show again. Thanks for watching this recorded broadcast. It'll be uploaded tonight at 2 in the morning when I get done with my regular show. All right. Well, slander in any form, if it transpires into libel, either way, definitely send me any written correspondence that you have with this person. I really want to know, because there's no way you're going to run off your mouth saying what he said, which is not true, unless he indeed said it. So thank you very much. All right, we'll see you in a bit. Thanks.